Okay, so I'm just going to share with you with Katya now, and we're live. I'm also going to share it on WhatsApp, so if someone can share it on Facebook as well, please.
I can share it in the WhatsApp and Facebook.
Yeah. Kathy, is it shared on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm just writing it now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hello, everyone. So we're going to start the webinar because we have yours now. Welcome, everyone, to the March Meeting SCOPH Preparatory webinar. What we're going to do today is with this webinar, the aim of basically this webinar is to prepare all the people who are coming to the SCOPH sessions as to what they need to do, what they need to bring, etc. So first to introduce myself, I'm Nishwa. I'm the SCOPH director for this term, which is 2017 to 2018. And just a general overview or the general agenda of why this webinar is happening is because if you're a beginner who's coming to for the first time to the SCOPH sessions or to the General Assembly, so you know what to bring, what should you expect, and how is it going to go. And even if you're a person who has been with us before, so you know what's new this year or how can you optimize your experience. So the purpose basically of this webinar is to inform you or to provide you with tools to have so you can have the optimum experience at the webinar. So now I'm going to start sharing my screen for the presentation, and then we're going to take it from there. But before that, I'm going to open the floor for introduction of the facilitators which we have, and there are people from this session. So I'm just going to call out, and you guys can introduce yourselves with your names, with your NMOs, and how excited you are to welcome every SCOPH hero in the March meeting. Raida, would you like to go first?
Hello, everyone. So I'm Raida from Lebanon, and I'm the current MPO, and I'm super excited for this GA.
Lebanese? Okay, Malika?
Hi guys. Hi. My name is Melita. I'm from IFMC Serbia, and it's my first time being in a session team, and I'm super excited
Thank you. Sonny?
Hey everybody, I'm Sanne from the Netherlands and the current liaison officer for public health issues. And I really can't wait to meet you all in Egypt in almost 1.5 weeks.
Thank you. Sarah?
Hi guys, I'm Sarah, I'm from Malta and I'm the current NPO. I'm super excited and I can't believe it's in just a few days.
Thank you. Katya?
Hey everyone, I'm Katya from Slovenia and I'm the current SCOPH General Assistant. I really can't wait to meet you all very soon. And as everyone, I'm also extremely excited and looking forward to this session.
Thank you. Omnia?
Hey everyone, I'm Omnia Omrani. I'm from IFMC Egypt and I can't wait to have you all in Egypt finally. And I'm currently the SCOPH regional assistant for the EMR. I'm super excited and I know you will love it.
Thank you. Utku?
Hello everyone, I'm Utku from Turkey. I'm the current NP assistant. I'm super excited like my friends here and I hope we will all be empowered SCOPH heroes at the end of the meeting.
Thank you very much. So now I'm going to share my screen so you guys will be able to see the presentation and we'll go one by one. Okay, can you all see my screen? So now I'm going to hand it over to Omnia to take over what is SCOPH. Omnia?
Can you all hear me clearly? I'm sorry about that. So for SCOPH, it started in 1952 where it was SCOPH and then it became SCOPH. And then finally, it's SCOPH in 1983, where a group of medical students, they were so passionate about public health and global health, and they wanted to advocate for it. And that's how SCOPH started. So what are we looking for? It's the same as the vision of IFMSA, to create a world of medical students that are equipped with the skills and the knowledge needed to advocate for global health issues, and also unite to empower and to act locally and globally. So the mission of SCOPH is health promotion and empowerment of its members. Also, our mission is to prevent diseases and to raise awareness among our community, to increase the knowledge about global health issues, also to advocate using health policies, and to collaborate with other stakeholders to help increase our impact globally. And that's it.
Thank you. So we'll move on to the introduction of the sessions team. The international team.
Yes, so SCOPH International team, this year we have 10 members and most of them will be joining you for the SCOPH session. So as you know, you have Vishwa, the SCOPH director, and Sane from the Netherlands, who is the liaison officer for public health issues. Then we have Tarek, who is the development assistant, and he's been working on a lot of the small working groups, and you can also always ask him about anything. Then we have the regional assistant, so one regional assistant for Africa, which is Christoph. Then we have Juante, who is the regional assistant for the Americas. We have Alex, the regional assistant for Asia Pacific region. We have Omnia, who is the regional assistant for East Mediterranean region. And then we have two regional assistants for Europe, which are Kim and Maciek. And then myself, I am Katya, and I'm the general assistant. We are always available. You can always reach us with any questions, any help that you desire. So hopefully we will have a very good time together.
Yes, thank you very much, Katya. Now I'm going to move on to the introduction of the sessions team. Some of them are here, so you've seen or you've met them. Now, the ones which are missing, so we have Dominique, who's from Belgium, and and he's also a part of the sessions team. You've met Ghaida, you've met Katya, and Lebanese. who would be our representative of the Americas in Sessions team. Then we have Maciek, also in the Sessions team, who you'll be meeting, and he's also the RA for Europe. Then we have Sheng Alex, who is the RA for Asia Pacific. You're also going to be seeing them. And then we have Tariq, who's the DA, who you're also going to meet. And then we have Utku. So I'm going to move on to the general agenda. And with the general agenda, there are two agendas which we're going to see. The first one is the general agenda, which is for all of the March meeting. And the second one is the specific SCOPH agenda. So in the general agenda, there are basically two sessions which you're going to spend most of your time in. The first one is the sessions team, the session standing committee session, which is going to be SCOPH. And the second one is the plenaries. So starting off, if you see, and every morning, so we start on the 2nd of March, and every morning we start at 9, which is the standing committee sessions, which would be SCOPH sessions here. Then, except on day 4, in which day 4 we have the activities fair, and then we have the usual session. So we start after lunch on day 4, and even on day 5 we have a session before lunch, and then we have a session after lunch, which is mostly the wrap-up session for pictures, etc. Now, moving on just regarding that, and additionally, so we have the plenary.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes?
Maybe the video is not visible on the YouTube channel. Can you make sure that it is, please?
The YouTube channel?
The shared screen, yes.
Oh, okay. Can you guys see it now? Okay, I'm going to assume yes. If not, please interrupt me again, and then we can see if that's not working. So yes, moving on to the general agenda. So these are the standing committee sessions in which we start at 9 o'clock every day. And then we have the plenaries, which are mostly in the evenings, which is from, it's variant every day. But we start
in the presentation.
You cannot see my screen?
No, I only see Omnia's. Yeah, I only see Omnia's profile picture.
That is weird. Okay. Can you guys see it now?
I can see it, and I was seeing it before.
The YouTube video is about 1 minute behind, so I guess we won't be able
Can you guys
to
see that?
Okay.
If not,
now it's yeah.
Now it's back.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So again, I'm going to start again with the general sessions. So we have standing committee sessions and plenary sessions in the evening. So these are the two sessions which you will mostly be attending. Then again, other than that, what we have is the Rex Cross the award present. No, we firstly on day 1 we also have regional sessions. So we have 2 regional sessions, which is on day 1 and day 4. And in the regional sessions, we also have SCOPH sessions, which is the timings are different for each session. But basically, in that sessions, you guys will be able to talk about SCOPH in more of a regional perspective and more of regional issues, and how the RAs will be talking to the NPOs more closely and more localized. Then what we have is on day 2, what we have is Rex Crossley Award presentations. And the Rex Crossley Award presentations, we have the top 10 presentations, the top 10 projects which are shortlisted and which are selected by IFMSA. And these are programs, or these are projects which are one of the best projects that have happened throughout the year. And I think it's a great session to be in and to watch how these award presentations go, and then you can always know more about how the programs have worked in these top 10 countries. Then what we have is on day 3, we have policy document discussion, which Sane is going to, the liaison officer in public health, is going to talk to you about. Then we have activities fair on day 4 in the morning. An activities fair is something where you have a lot of, where there are projects which are presented, and there are just more of those. And you can always look around as to what projects there are, how's another country carrying out projects, so you can always ask and question, and it's a good opportunity to interact with other countries and other program coordinators from their countries. Then we have again a regional session. Then we have the standing committee sessions, and on day 5 we have 2 sessions. The standing committee, the SCOPH session is divided into 2, which is the first part and the second part. In the first part, we're going to have sessions. In the second part, we're going to have a wrap-up session and a picture. So then I'm going to move on to the specific sessions, which are the SCOPH sessions, the special agenda of the SCOPH sessions. And you guys would have it in your survival kit as well. All the details of every session, but I'm going to give it over to the facilitators of the call to explain a bit about day 1, day 2, and day 3, and day 4. So day 1. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm super excited to present to you the first day and to go through day 1 and day 2. For day 1, we have prepared a parallel session for both SCOPH newbies and the SCOPH experts and NPOs, where we'll briefly go through the history of SCOPH and the goals and the objectives that is for the newbies and the passionate SCOPH heroes. As for the experts, we'll do like a refreshment for our main goals and vision and objectives and what we aim for in SCOPH. As for the second session, it's a get to know each other so that we can increase the bond and the friendships between the SCOPH heroes, which is our main aim of any SCOPH sessions that we're having. And then we move on to the SCOPH talks. This is a particularly special part of our sessions where a SCOPH hero will give a talk about something that's inspiring to them or advocacy work that to inspire our participants to what SCOPH is all about. And finally, we end the day by a session on mental health, which is an introduction to the variety of this with the coming days. As for day 2, we start by the global health epidemics, which is a simulation that WHO and other policymakers work during an outbreak. So this is very informative and very fun to do and to experience the variety of stakeholders upon. On to universal health coverage and introduce the concept of this discipline that has been truly discussed. And after that, we will take on the policy document 101. And policy statement has been the advocacy tool that we have been using in IFMSA.
So I'm going to move on to day 3. Utku?
Hi again, everyone. On day 3, we will have program session in which we will be facilitating parallel sessions with a variety of programs. You will hear more about them in a few minutes. And after that, we will start our session on antimicrobial resistance, one of the priorities of SCOPH this year. So we will have more room for discussion on things that we can do and advocacy on this issue.
Thank you. Day 4, Sarah?
Okay, guys. So just warning, my internet might stop at any point, but it's been happening way too many times this week. So for the SCOPH Fair, as we said, it's the very, very first SCOPH Fair, and we're really excited for it, and we hope you are too. And the idea is based on the activities fair, which Nishwa mentioned before, and it's basically a similar setup to the activities fair, but based only, of course, on SCOPH. Now, just in case you don't know what it's like if it's your first time for an activities fair, the idea is that you get to present your projects, your SCOPH projects. So you get to choose a SCOPH project and submit the form. The deadline is tomorrow, reminder. And submit a project, and you can share it with others so people can learn from it, and you can learn yourself by getting feedback at the end of the day. Of course, this isn't compulsory. So if you don't submit a project, it's still very useful for you to come to the SCOPH fair and walk around, get ideas, and as well come with sort of certain goals in mind. So if you want a new project, for example, on mental health, then you can focus on the mental health stance and so on. So it will be very well categorized according to different topics of projects. Also, those who aren't presenting the project will actually have the chance to sort of have a judging vote on the other people's project. What you'd require is a poster, as we mentioned, and we'll give you more information. And you'll have your own desk, and you can have a small setup, similar again to activities fair. Regarding information you need to focus on, the idea is based on the Google form you need to fill in. So things like problem statement and the methodology and so on, those are the things you need to focus on when you're presenting your project, and whatever, of course, you feel is important. And like that, you can receive feedback, you can inspire others and so on. And the idea is for you to interact and learn from others and see different things. So just walk around and see as many as you can, basically, and be as fruitful as possible. And then finally, we'll move on, sort of translating into that, is into the small working groups on activities. And here, you'll have a chance to deal with certain challenges. Obviously, a lot of us deal with a lot of challenges in SCOPH for different projects, for different events within our teams and so on. And
Sarah, I don't think I can hear you. Am I the only one?
No, you're not.
Okay, so I'll wait for her to get back, and then in the meanwhile, I can explain to you guys something, which is the form of representation, which is in day 3. So what the form of representation is something which we started this year as the SCOPH IT, and what we did was that in all the online meetings of the regions, so we try to do it in 3 ways. The first way is in online meetings with the NPOs. So as the director, have attended one of the online meetings with the NPOs of the Americas and one of the Africas, and then I want to do it with every region. So in that session, what we ask them is how, like, if there are any challenges that they're facing, do they have any ideas for SCOPH work, or how do they feel that they're involved enough in the international SCOPH? Because obviously everything that the SCOPH IT does is for the participants. So that is something that we do in online meetings. The second thing that we do is we try to do it in the regional meetings. This happened in the Americas regional meeting and in the EMR regional meeting, which was executed by the RAs of those regions. And then the third part of form of representation is that it's going to happen in the General Assemblies, which is the March meeting and the August meeting. So basically, in form of representation, we want to hear from you as to what do you think? Do you feel involved in SCOPH International enough? Do you have any challenges that you would like the SCOPH IT to work on? Do you have any ideas, etc.? So we can get, although we try to get feedback from you guys intangibly in many ways, but this is more of a tangible representation which I can hear. So even if you're the NPO or if you're only a member of your NMO, it would be great if you would probably discuss it beforehand with your members as to what their opinion is working in SCOPH internationally, or if there's anything that they want to communicate to the SCOPH IT very directly. We're always there to for your concerns and to hear about you with emails, etc. But this is more of an interactive session where you can probably start a discussion even as to how we can work together. So I'm going to see if we have Sarah back. Okay, hello Sarah. So do you want to continue with the small working group? We lost you at the small working group on activities.
I didn't speak to myself for like 10 minutes. No, as if I didn't go for that long, but okay. So I finished the stuff there.
We were in between the small working group on activities.
Oh, okay. And I'm also just being informed that it's not the first ever SCOPH fair. So
Oops, I'm sorry.
No,
it was a while. We weren't there.
Okay. So for the small working groups, I'll just start quickly from the beginning. The idea is to focus on different challenges we find in SCOPH, which we do find in SCOPH when working on different projects and so on. So the point is each group will have its own challenge based on, of course, your preference and what is a priority for you. and gets to define the cause of it, gets to see how to go about it, strategize together. Of course, it may be different in different countries and different projects, but at least you can work together on something that you have in common and try to find common ground on this. And I think this would be really useful, because even during SCOPH sessions in the last August meeting, even though we didn't have a specific small working group on activities, just from listening to other people, I managed to come up with different solutions for certain projects that were happening at the time. So it's very easy to get inspired by people and even find ideas that were maybe obvious at the beginning but never came to you. So hopefully day 4 in itself will be fruitful and useful as much as possible.
Thank you very much. That was day 4, and then we're going to move on to day 5, which is actually a very nice mix. So the first thing is health in all policies. So health in all policies is a session which is going to be facilitated by Sane, and it is in depth. It is about how we need to promote health in all the policies that we have, not only in specific health policies but otherwise as well. The second thing,
but the presentation is not on again.
Can everyone else see the presentation?
You can see Sarah. Sarah, smile.
Can you guys see it now? Wait, let me try.
The YouTube video is about 30 to 40 seconds behind, so we don't know.
Okay, this, I think we can see now. Okay, so okay, so I'm going to start, which is health and all policies. So now, so after that, we have research in public health, which is a very interesting topic, which we are having this for a while now, which is how does research, which as it happens in public health, is involved into is updated and is involved in public health. How should our policies, which we make on health, etc., be governed or be even guided by the research that happens, etc. For instance, every day we have news about if there's a thing which is classified as a carcinogen, should we, as should the government or should the state make new policies to protect our public health? Then we have mental health advanced, which is particularly my favorite session. So in this session, what we're going to talk about is we're going to take mental health to the next level, and we're going to talk about emotional health, emotional well-being. Not only that, but also about how in the past, how have the different eras of history of literature influenced how we think or how our thoughts are formulated today, which tangibly or intangibly affect our emotional health, because obviously thoughts govern everything. And also a little bit about the principles of psychotherapy, as to how do we think what we think. And because we think that once the people know, or once the SCOPH viewers know how they think, then only can we get a better understanding or an in-depth understanding of mental health. Then we have aging, which is a priority for SCOPH this year, especially for the Asia Pacific region. So we're going to talk about what is aging, what is ageism, and because it is a problem, or it is a public health concern which is growing in every single region. And the last thing, and the very important thing we have, is an NPO plenary. What the NPO plenary is, that if you guys know, I hope you do, we have SCOPH regulations. So the Standing Committee on Public Health has its own sets of regulations, and we open it for amendments every year. And this year we've already sent out a call through Facebook about, so there's a call for amendment, and we have, number 1 is the primary document is the SCOPH regulations, and then we have 4 annexes. So we have Annex 1, Annex 2, Annex 3, and Annex 4, which are further subdivided into the strategy, which we have, which is also open for amendments. The second thing is the annual working plan of the SCOPH IT, which is not really open for amendment, but is open for input. The third thing is the SCOPH regulation, the public health exchanges, or the SCOPH exchanges, which are also not open for amendment, because we're going to open them in August, but they are open for input. So according to your input will be incorporated. We will open a discussion and it will be incorporated, hopefully in the regulations to be voted on, although they are functional right now. And the last one is the PHLT regulations, which are also open for amendments. Last year, the way we did it was that we used that it was an editable document and everyone could comment, but this year we're trying to be a bit more formal with this. So how you need to send us amendments is in the Facebook post as well, which is that you need to send out an email to me, CCing the Katia, which is the general assistant, and we will and you need to propose what change are you proposing in the NPO plenary. We will and the deadline is 1st of March. So in the NPO plenary, we'll go one by one with every amendment and have a vote on it, or open a discussion for amendments, and we will have to find a seconder as well. We do request you to send in your amendments before the 1st of March, because the NPO plenary session is very specific, and we want to promote more discussion, and that is why there will be a limited time to take in more amendments on the spot. So the amendments on the spot would be taken in last if there is time. So please send them before 1st of March. And yes, so that is day 5. And the last thing is, which is after lunch, we have a wrap-up session where we're going to take another picture, something as cool as this, which was taken in the August meeting in Tanzania. And we're gonna, and it's a great way where you can exchange gifts with each other, say goodbye, etc. And then we have joint sessions. So I'm gonna hand it over to Ghaida.
Hello again, everyone. So as it was mentioned before, we do have joint sessions as usual as part of the schedule. And joint sessions are basically 2 standing committees. One of them is, of course, SCOPH, joined together in one session to discuss like an overlapping topic, which both committees work on or address usually. And this year also, these topics are a priority of SCOPH. We have 4 joint sessions. The first is going to be with SCOMI, and it will involve the idea of public health and medical curriculum. We already have a small working group on this topic, so we're going to discuss it further in this session. The second would be STI, sexually transmitted illnesses and antimicrobial resistance, since we do have a direct link between both. AMR did increase the prevalence of the STIs, so also it is one of our priorities, and we're going to tackle it in this session. The third would be a joint session with SCORP, the price of being healthy. It will be discussing mainly the link between social determinants of health and health equity. And the final would be, of course, the joint session with SCOPH, which is basically what we're all waiting for, the SCOPH exchange. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So these sessions are going to be parallel, and you can choose from them as to which you think is a topic of interest and attend those. Our joint sessions are on day 3 after lunch. Okay, so the next thing is the program sessions. So I'm going to give a little bit of an introduction of program sessions. The program sessions this year has been revamped a bit as well. So the concept of the program session is more of an introduction towards the programs of IFMSA and their overlap, etc. So we're going to have, in these sessions, we have 6 streams in total, and 3 of them are tangibly related to SCOPH. So the first one is impact of health systems and NCDs, the impact of environment on communicable diseases, and the third is rights of medical student and its relationship to mental health. What will happen in a program session is that we'll have an introduction of what IFMSA programs are, how do they work, what are the benefits of enrolling your programs, your projects into programs, and how they also work with the SCOPH IT or with any standing committee international team for promotion. The second very interesting part of the program session is, which I would recommend is the activity management part, where we will teach the basics of activity management, such as what are visions, missions, and goals, and a little bit more on top of that. So it will help you to develop your activity management skills. And the third part would be topic promotion on these specific streams, which is how do health systems impact NCDs? How can we how can we have more? How can we put in place health systems which focus on long care or patient-centered care, so that we can prevent NCDs. The second one is how does climate change, environmental change affect communicable diseases, especially the tropical diseases such as malaria, dengue, etc. The third one is rights of medical student and its relationship to mental health. And that's what we're going to talk about is how it is the responsibility, what responsibility does it lie on the institute to provide the facilities to the medical students, to either provide facilities or to capacity build the medical students so that they can have sounder mental health for themselves, and because they're the future healthcare professionals. So how can they, once they're health professionals, deal with mental health with all the stress that comes with the job? The last part of the program session in general is going to be the small working groups, which is that you guys are going to be divided into small working groups, and then you can work um, on an activity on one of these programs. In this, we're going to have members of the SCOPH IT, the SCOPH session teams and the SCOPH IT, and we will have the program coordinators for NCDs, for health systems, for environment and health, communicable diseases, mental health, etc. So we're going to have, it will be very nice time for you guys to get to know about the programs as well. Then the next thing which we have is policy statements in SCOPH, and I'm going to hand it over to Sunny.
Yes, thanks. So besides all the wonderful sessions, we also come together in the GAs to vote upon a lot of documents. And one of those documents are policy statements. And in policy statements, we basically state what we as IFMC think on a certain topic. And that can be any topic we think that is important to express ourselves about. And for this GA, there are 5 public health related policies there for voting. So the first one is antimicrobial resistance. It was there before, but since it is a new priority within the external work of IFMSA at the moment, we proposed quite a few amendments to it to update it to the current situation. The same goes for universal health coverage as well. And the third one is non-communicable diseases. Also, this was an existing policy before, but we try to extend it with the risk factors instead of having them as separate policies. And the last 2 are new topics proposed by our members. So the first one is neglected tropical diseases, and the second is drug reform. And if you're incredibly fast, the deadline for amendments to the policies is tonight. You have to go through your NMO president who can submit amendments, but if you're interested and still have an hour left tonight, please go through them and see if you think we really need to change something about them. And as Nusra mentioned before, during the General Assembly itself, there will be time to discuss the policies. And this is mainly aimed to discuss how we can implement them. And not only on the international level, but we would really like to hear your thoughts as well, how you could use them on the national or even local level. So if you still have some time left, please go over them and join us in the discussions.
Thank you very much, Sunny. This is the session in the August meeting, and that is the kind of environment that we report. The next thing is what to bring. So just a little bit about what you guys should prepare. If there's anything that you should prepare, please go over the survival kit. It is in much detail about as to every session, as to for you guys to decide what sessions do you want to take, and the facilitators have added specific things that they would like you to go over to just optimize your learning experience. The second thing is please go over what we would recommend is make a list of goals and objectives that you would like to achieve in the General Assembly, and which is probably different for everyone, as to do you want to know, are you here to learn something which is more topic based? Are you here to interact with other people more and learn something else? Are you here to, I mean, obviously it can be a mix of all, but in your mind, as well. Make you have a subject which you want to achieve, but even shirt and orange accessories, anything that is orange, please bring it. Because number one, we want to make the room orange, and then we have a picture at the end. The second thing is bring small gifts for your new friends, which we do mostly on the last day, and for the SCOPH sessions. Then we have, please be careful about the adapters and the chargers, which you bring, so that it's comfortable for you. If you guys need any resources on spot, please bring a USB, so it is easier for us to transfer any resources to you. Bring your enthusiasm, motivation, SCOPH energy, and last your picture of yourself, your brochures, promotion material, anything that you want for the SCOPH experience wall, where we can stick on considering all the things regarding the SCOPH years, etc. What do you want for animal? And if there's anything, is we will share. So you from that you posters, flyers, etc. And now I'm gonna just open the floor to all the facilitators. If you guys wanna have, if you guys want to give any message to the people watching as to tips and tricks.
Okay, can I talk? Can you hear me? Yes? No?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So my message to all of you SCOPH heroes is that SCOPH session is very special and it's unforgettable. Every session is different, and the GA is a time for you to meet all the different SCOPH heroes and develop beautiful friendships. So please, out of it, make sure you read the survival kit so that you'll be fully equipped with all the information that you need, and that you'll be super amazing in the sessions, and to give input as much as you can, because we all learn from each other, from the problems that we have, from the solutions, from the activities. And most importantly, the most important thing that you have to bring is your SCOPH spirit, and to enjoy every second of it, to take photos as much as you can. Remember the people that you're working with, that is sitting next to you. Make sure you make the most out of it, and we'll all work day and night to make it the best sessions you ever have in Egypt.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Okay, so I would like to send a message as well, if possible.
Yes,
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So I just wanted to say that I attended last GA in Tanzania, and it was one of the most amazing experiences I ever had in the SCOPH sessions, and it made me apply to this sessions team, this amazing sessions teams that I'm proud to be part of, and it made me engaged. I have to tell you guys, we're gonna get hooked on SCOPH and everywhere, whether it was with your other SCOPH heroes that share your same passion, or the topics this year, which are super diverse and very, very, very interesting. So I'm excited to meet you all there, and don't forget to bring a lot of sweets if you can from your different countries.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to say something?
Can I go?
Yes.
Hey guys, if you are attending an FMC meeting for the first time, do not be afraid. When I remember my first FMC meeting about 2 years ago, I remember something that changed my life, my whole life probably. So please, please, please be super excited, and it's not a bad thing, so don't worry.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes.
I would just like to add a little thing, and that is participate, be as active as possible to get the most wonderful experience you possibly can. Also ask questions. Questions are the thing that bring us together, and you are able to learn more. So just participate and enjoy. So have fun.
Anyone else?
Yes. I just wanted to say that it might be overwhelming and you might be tired and all of that, but please, please, please don't forget to enjoy yourself. It's really an inspiring event to be at, and you might make friends for life.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Sarah, Lebanese, would you guys like to say anything?
I'm trying to, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, can I?
Wait, can I go?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Well, I would like to welcome you all to these SCOPH sessions. I am sure you're going to have such a wonderful experience. As my dear sessions team said, you should be on time to the sessions, enjoy yourself. We know it is going to be hard because of the social program and those stuff, but please be responsible and ask as much questions as you have and enjoy it. That's it.
Thank you. Sarah?
as Lemni said, you're probably going to suffer from loads of sleep deprivation, so do try find some time to sleep. But it's so much fun. There's going to be so many people, so many friends to make, and loads to learn, of course, but mostly it's time to have fun while learning. And I'm excited to see you all.
Yes. So in ending, we're just going to start with questions after this. So I would also like to say, if this is your first time, if you've been here before, please speak up and talk about, interact with other people. I think one of the beauties of a General Assembly of IFMSA is that we have people from such different backgrounds working on the same thing. So I think the amount that you can learn, you might be able to learn topic knowledge, like topic specific things in otherwise, like on the internet or something, where you can never learn or experience the interaction that you can get from there and the things that you can learn in that sense. Also, please be on time. When we start, be specific of that, be respectful to each other. If you need any sort of help, please feel very, very free to message any of us from the sessions team, from the IT. We have a SCOPH Facebook March meeting page. We have a WhatsApp group. So if you're not already in that, please let us know and we will add you to it right away. Last thing is, again, as everyone has mentioned, it can be overwhelming sometimes, but please have fun. And I think it is more than just learning, etc. It's more of an experience all in all, which you will definitely remember. And the sessions team is working very hard to make it a very memorable General Assembly or SCOPH sessions for you. So now I'm gonna open the floor for some questions. And if you guys have any questions, please send it to us. And I see some questions. Okay, Katya, do you want to facilitate the questions with these?
Yeah, so first question was from Augusto, and he asked what if we wanted to present an idea for a new workshop? When would be the ideal time to do so if available?
Okay, so I guess the thing is that for the SCOPH session, if you're talking about the SCOPH session specifically, or related sessions, we had a call for input, which is we start before, I think in December, and we give a call for input as to what would you guys like to see? Is there any workshop or is there any session that you would like to see? So that is the ideal time to send in your ideas for new workshops, etc. As we move closer, we finalize the agendas and we finalize the sessions because we need to start preparing. So I would say this is for now. And then, of course, for the August meeting or for the next General Assembly, for the regional meetings, because we have 3 regional meetings left, you can always propose new ideas in the call for inputs. And that is why we open call for inputs. So that we can hear from you if you guys have any ideas, etc. I hope that answers your question. If not, please let me know. So Katya, and if anyone wants to add to the question, please feel free to from the facilitators.
And I would say that for the workshop, you can always talk to us during the meeting itself, and we can discuss it and maybe prepare the proposal for the August meeting if it is possible and interesting as well. Then we have another question from Ashandi, asking if the MPO cannot attend the GA, could someone else represent him or her during the MPO plenary?
Kathy, would you like to answer this as well?
Yes. So during the SCOPH sessions, we usually also count in the representatives. It is good if you are able to send us an email, or if the person who is representing you as the NPO can have some sort of like a paper just saying that, yeah, he is the representative and he or she will be allowed to represent you at the NPO family.
Just to add in exactly what Kathy said, that we do, like, however many representatives or however members that we have from an NMO, we in the NPO plan we count one NMO as a vote. So if there's an NPO, then that is the idealistic situation where we count that person as the NPO as a representative. But if the NPO cannot make it, if you guys can communicate well to that representative that he or she will be representing, and if you guys can inform us, that would be great. But even otherwise, just a good understanding between you that person will be representing the SCOPH from your NMO. Um, I hope that answers your question. Do we have any others? Okay, I don't think we have any other questions. I'm gonna, yes.
No, there haven't been. Let me just check Facebook if we have any there.
I have a question from one of my buddies. They are asking if they should bring like a banner or something, maybe a material to present their activity during the SCOPH fair.
Absolutely. Yes, please do bring as many resources, as many materials that you want to present SCOPH fair. We've not just as far decided a specific size for it, but just we were going with an average size which can fit in a desk. But even if you have any materials, please feel free to bring as many as you want. That would be great. And does anyone have any other questions? And Ashandi, I will get to your PHLT question. I'm just going to wait for someone if they have any other questions regarding the March meeting. If not, then we can always, I can shortly address the PHLT's question here. But you can.
We received one more question on WhatsApp, and that is about the SCOPH exchanges and its deadline, if there are any possible extensions.
Yes. So with the SCOPH exchanges, we have opened a call for SCOPH exchanges for a while now, and I hope you all know the procedure, etc. The deadline was today, but we are gonna send an extension because we wanted to give other people more like preparatory time. So we will extend the deadline today. We're just discussing as to probably the 20th or 28th of February, but you will receive a post today on Facebook and on the server. Does anyone have any other question?
We received one more from Amir. If he can get more details about the form of the presentation.
Okay, so regarding the form of representation, we have some details in the survival kit, but I can tell you the three basic questions that we base our form for representation around. The first one is, do you feel involved in SCOPH, international in SCOPH? And then everyone, we do just like a tentative vote. And if someone thinks that they're not, then we ask, why do you think you're not involved in SCOPH internationally? And then you can ask us if we're not getting to you enough, or if there's a language barrier, etc., etc. So that is more of an open discussion that we start. The second question which we ask is, are there any challenges that you're facing in SCOPH nationally or regionally? And then we again open the floor for discussion, etc. And the third thing is, do you guys have any ideas as to what the SCOPH IT should work on? So the third question is somehow linked to the second and the first question. As to what we try to do is that we try to include the most common challenges that people have. And even like the positive things. If you guys think that you're very involved in SCOPH because we're posting a lot on Facebook, etc., then we take that and we try to reinforce that for the rest of the term. And if there is something where which is a challenge for all of you, and which we see what the majority challenges are, and then we try to formulate that as an action point as to what ideas do you have the SCOPH IT to work on. And these are the three basic questions which we have. So any challenges that you think your NMO might be your NMO SCOPH might be facing, you can always discuss it before and be a representative of them in the session. I hope that answers your question. Is there any other question?
No, not for now.
Okay. Okay, guys. So as for the deadline for SCOPH exchanges, we're going to extend the deadline to the 28th of February, which is that you have 10 more days. And if you need any help regarding that, please feel free to message anyone from SCOPH IT, basically. And that's about it. If anyone has any difficulty finding the survival kit, it was posted on the SCOPH Facebook page and the server. we will send a reminder email today at the server again. And there's just one question which I'm gonna address, although we're not talking about the PHLT, but still, just because we're here. So Ashton asks, do we need something to prepare for the PHLT? Because I didn't get any reminders, lots of updates, etc. Are there survival? Are there any survival? Okay. So Ashley, we do not have survival kit for the PHLT. But regarding the PHLT, you will receive an email very soon, probably in the next 2 to 3 days. There's nothing major that you need to prepare, but we will send you some resources that you can go over, etc. So it's all going to be in the email. And yes. So that's about the PHLT. If you have any other further questions, please feel free to email us or to get to the facilitators, which is the general assistant, the environmental assistant, and Utku. So I'm gonna wait a minute for more questions, and if we don't, then we're gonna end this webinar. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to ask. Going once, going twice. Okay, so I think we do not have any further questions. And so thank you very much, everyone who is attending the webinar. Please feel free to share this webinar, the survival kit, etc., with the members of your NMO who are coming. And can you guys see my screen?
No, it's the internet.
Okay, that's perfect. Fine. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of this webinar. We hope that you've learned something and that you feel a bit more prepared. And the sessions team is always there for you if you have any questions, if you want to, basically anything, please feel free to contact any of us. Now you know us by faces and by names. And feel free to share it with your NMO buddies. Please go through the survival kit if you have not. And me, on behalf of the whole sessions teams, are wishing you very, very successful SCOPH sessions and a very memorable trip to Egypt. And we've all had our first time, so I think we know how it goes. It's going to be amazing, hopefully. So thank you very much, everyone. And if anyone wants to say anything, please feel free to. Now I'm just going to say bye-bye. And bring food from your countries. We're very interested in, I mean, just saying.
Super interested.
So, yeah, super interested. Somebody super interested in food from your countries.
Food, yes.
But the participants are asking about Nutella.
We will hopefully convince someone from the Southern Committee to bring everyone Nutella. But yes, thank you very much. And I'm going to say bye-bye from my side.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.